Like so many places in Kentucky, Joplin, Missouri will spend the foreseeable future just trying to find a new normal.
It's not ever going to be the same, and I think that that's the tough part about this whole experience. But what we have now is the opportunity to make it better.
More than 7,000 families are rebuilding their homes. Nearly every child, every student is learning inside a different school.
Of the 9 schools that were hit, 6 of them will never move back into again.
A major rebuilding project to replace almost every elementary in the massive Joplin High School is underway. Replacing brick and mortar is one thing, but Superintendent C.J. Huff says he's learned the most valuable thing isn't found in a building plan or even in a lesson book.
But this year we haven't talked a lot about test scores. We've talked more about taking care of one another and making sure our kids and our families and our staff have what they need.
The community wanted to be sure that school was ready to start on time, so modular temporary units were put up. They were ready for students within just 1 month. The school year started on time in August, and kids will fill up temporary space until the new schools are done in 2014.
Our kids have been very resilient. I've been very proud of how the kids have handled things.
Outside every temporary school is a solid steel storm shelter. And inside, most teachers know that on some days, regular instruction will take a back seat because they're still dealing with the tragedy that took 161 lives, 7 of them children.
We started working with our staff on trauma training and the look-fors, things to look for in students and one another.
Knowing their greatest asset in recovery is not in a new building or in the best curriculum. Officials here say it's found in their people. In Joplin, Missouri, Phil Pendleton, WKYT, 27 News First. In the 10 months since the massive tornado destroyed a third of the town, volunteers have poured into Joplin, including 14 from Lexington, and among them UK student Kara Starnes, who admits that it was a trip that at first she didn't want to make.
It's just the experience and the learning is just so much more. When I go back, it's just going to be like, wow, what a well-spent week.
That's because volunteers are literally putting the town back together, a community that lost 7,000 homes.
Strangers from all across the country and the world really reaching out and embracing our community.
Isaac Bowl gave up his spring break, but he says he's gaining so much more.
What else is really worthwhile? I mean, we're here with our church, and there's not really anything else that we'd rather be doing right now than giving up our spring break to help these people.
The owner of this house didn't have insurance when the tornado hit. He says he was dealing with a lot of health issues, but he says his life is much better today, all because of the volunteers and many others that have helped him over the past 10 months.
I pat them on the back and thank them, and they said, no, we want to thank you for letting us come and work on your house, and I can't believe.
They're just college kids, but this week they've become carpenters and craftsmen.
I mean, the people are here doing this from a non-profit point of view. I mean, they're just here to help.
Their rebuilding is going to go on for years and years, you know, so to come here and see just how much they still need but also to hear their stories is just amazing.
But others would say choosing to spend a week with hammers and nails instead of laying on the beach is amazing as well. In Joplin, Missouri, Phil Pendleton, WKYT, 27 News First.